Hello out there, this is Wakeangel2K1 bringing you another toy review. This is a special gift from DeviantArt user Shadowfall1996. I guess somehow he knew that my birthday was later this month and decided to drop one in for me. It is the Sir Galahad Silver figure from the Sonic and the Black Knight series. A figure that I didn't even know was officially released yet, so how about that? Once again, the idea that somebody at Jazwares really likes Silver is pretty obvious in that, just look at this guy. His sculpt is frankly amazing. The paint job is spectacular. Everything is painted on him to look antique-y. Like check out the paint on his gauntlets. It has that streaky, like oiled metal look, and the same thing for the gold parts on the tops of his boots. It's a really great metallic effect, and the sculpt is equally amazing. Little details are in there. If we zoom up, we can see all the finery put into the armor, bolts, and the helmet just hugs his face beautifully. There is nothing wrong with this sculpt whatsoever. Both the sculpt and the paint job are more than immaculate on this figure. My only complaint would be, why did they pick Galahad Silver? I mean, think about Sonic and the Black Knight. Galahad was only available in the single player... I'm sorry, he was not available in the single player mode. He was only available in the multiplayer mode. And I've never even gotten a chance to play the multiplayer mode because I only own one nunchuck. So I've actually never seen the character outside of, the artwork gallery. I mean, they could have made Knuckles as Sir Gawain, Blaze as Sir Percival. Heck, they even could have made Tails the blacksmith, or Amy as the Lady of the Lake, or even Merlina or the Black Knight himself. Any of those characters, technically speaking, should have been prioritized over this guy, because he has nothing to do with that game's story. The only response and it's not that Silver is super popular among the fans either. I'm pretty sure Blaze and Knuckles are far more popular than Silver if you were to poll the fans, even the younger fans. So I can only guess that someone at Jazwares who has the ability to decide which figures get made is a really huge fan of Silver. Because this might very well be the last one we get. Remember, starting later this season, Tomy is going to start making those Sonic Boom figures. Now, it's unknown at this point whether Tomy is going to be the sole producer of Sonic toys, or whether they're only going to be making the Sonic Boom toys, while the regular video game line will be kept by Jazwares. But there is a real chance that we might not see any more Sonic figures from Jazwares, and this could be the last one. I mean, it's a nice high point. This is a great figure, but, that's a bit of ambiguity. Now, Silver, of course, comes with a mask, as all of the Black Knight characters do, and it simply pegs into place. The plastic is a little bit soft, which is good because you have to do a bit of flexing to get it on, with his forehead frond getting in the way. It would be quite difficult to put this on if it was much stiffer material. And it's kind of a bummer that the forehead frond prevents the mask from moving once you put it on. So you either take it off or you put it on. There's no sliding it up onto his forehead like you can with Sonic or Shadow. And he also looks good in the mask, which again has an excellent sculpt and great paintwork. Nothing to complain about in the fields of sculpt and paintwork. Look, the holes are even lined up properly so you can see his eyes through them. Yeah, that is an excellent job. Besides the mask, Silver comes with one accessory. It is his sword. Now, not having played the game for a while, and never actually getting to play as this character, I don't know if the sword has a proper name, but it looks very much like an arrowhead. This big triangular piece of steel. If you look at the design on the hilt, it has that same thing that the regular whoops. It has that same thing that the regular Silver has on his gloves and his boots, along with that really nice Celtic pattern on the blade itself. And again, this is super hard, non-floppy plastic. The edges aren't quite as sharp as Excalibur's, but it is pretty pointy and pokey. See, look at that. I made impressions on my fingertip. So, this is an eye-poking hazard still. Heck, you could probably tie it to a shaft and make it into an actual arrow. Because it is the size and shape of an arrowhead. I don't think it would penetrate flesh, but it would easily go through a target. Silver can hold the sword very easily. And, there is some kind of sticky residue that I feel on some of his metal parts. Having left the figure exposed to air for a couple of days, the stickiness has almost completely vanished. But when I took him out of the package, when I touched his gauntlets and the bronze part of his boots, it almost felt like I was touching oil paint that didn't completely have a chance to dry yet. It was really unusual. I never felt that from a Jazwares figure before. I think it's whatever they use to make those streaks on the metal to make it look antique-y and worn. So let's break down his articulation. Silver has a ball-jointed head, which unlike Shadow's, is actually very free to move because his spines don't clip into his shoulders. There is no waist articulation in the torso this time. None of the Black Knight figures have had that anyway. And he has the same system of those ratcheting joints, which afford him free movement and at certain click points, but kind of makes you wish that there were some more click points. His arm can't go any lower than this, and his elbow doesn't quite get 90 degrees. This is because of clearance. Like, if they had cut into the edge of that cylinder that forms his bicep, they might have been able to get another click in there. I wouldn't want to do it though because I'm not sure how deep the click goes. The legs articulate in a similar manner. There is that same ratchet joint in the hips, although I really only find that I have clearance for one click in either direction. I guess it's good for a subtle walking pose. Although if you twist the ratchet to go outwards, then you can get some more clicks. So if you wanted to do him kicking to the side, that's much more possible. Let me get that oriented the right way. Knees, same problem with the elbows. There are clicks in there, but since it's recessed so deeply into that cylinder, there's no real clearance for it. Although he does have a very good swivel. Kudos, he may not have much clearance in his joints, but the swivel parts of them are not in the least bit floppy. I know a lot of people complain with Excalibur Sonic and Lancelot Shadow that the joints were floppy, and like if you tried to do this, they would just kind of like sink down, but not this guy. Well, if you shake him, they'll fall, but you know, you can move him around and nothing's just gonna shake around and flop over. So yeah, the joints could use a little bit more clearance, but they work and they aren't floppy, and the figure stands and succeeds in looking cool, which is pretty much all I'd expect from this guy. I mean, this isn't exactly one of those figures that little kids play with. Given the sculpt and paintwork, this is obviously something they meant more for display purposes. Alright, in comparison to the other two Knights figures, Silver/Galahad blends very well. His sword is every bit a match in terms of sculpt quality and paintwork as it is to Excalibur and to Lancelot's sword, whose name I have forgotten. His armor matches well, and actually, I think it's the shape of his feet and the lack of those stupid ball-jointed ankles, which are so loose and floppy on the other two figures that it makes him tip over. That he's actually easier to stand by a significant margin. It took me like 5 minutes to get the other two figures standing, and Silver was all too happy to stand, however I plunked him down. But all three figures look really nice pose, and if you want to display all three of them next to each other, you can totally do that. So this Galahad Silver figure is a resounding success. He came out great. Is it the best way to say goodbye to the Sonic and the Black Knight series of action figures? I don't think so. I would really like to see Percival and Gawain. And since they're already giving us Silver, they may as well give us Jet's character, who is also in the multiplayer mode. I believe the name of his knight was Galatine or something like that. I don't even remember. I know the knight was Sir Percival's brother in the original lore. So, yeah, I mean, they may as well give us Jet's character, too, if they gave us Silver's. So, the Black Knight figures are really cool, and I really hope that this isn't the last we see of them. If not by Jazwares, then hopefully Tomy will also take up the mantle if they completely take over the Sonic action figure business. This is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 signing off.